Hello, WiLLo Davis. How's it going? Taylor Swift's ticking me off a little bit. This is not a Taylor Swift hate video. Please don't come for me as if it was. It definitely is not. I just have concerns. She has done this before with rallying people against something and claiming it's for a different reason other than her just making even more money, which is hard to see from my perspective. But anyway, we'll discuss what's going on here, because you may not know, and just my kind of alternate take on it that I thought might be worth sharing for consideration. So I guess this is kind of where it first came up. Let me pull up this tweet from Taylor Swift where she says, "Don't know what else to do." Guys, I do like Taylor Swift's music. It's some good bop and pop tunes. I don't know if she wrote them or all of them. You know, her name may be on them, but you can pay people for the composition rights of their music. You can pay people enough money that they'll take their name off the composition or put yours on to include it or whatever. So it's very hard to tell with these types of things. Her name may be on these songs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she was the driving force behind them. But there's no way to tell that really. So could go either way with that. I would say it's not very likely that she was the sole or main writer to all of her songs, but that's not what this is about, and that's a normal thing for lots of artists. So it's not like a dragging Taylor Swift for that or anything like that. There's no reason why you can't just perform other people's music. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, the tweet is, "Don't know what else to do with these screenshots of text." We'll read down and see what's going on with Taylor here. Guys, it's been announced recently that American Music Awards will be honoring me with the Artist of the Decade Award at this year's ceremony. You can decide for yourself if she's worthy of Artist of the Decade over, say, Kanye West or something. I don't know why that's the first name that popped in my head. But that's what American Music Awards is saying. So she says, "I've been planning to perform a medley of my hits throughout the decade on the show. Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun have now said that I'm not allowed to perform my old songs on television because they claim that would be re-recording my music before I'm allowed to next year." Now, apparently, like, Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun, I guess they're with some company that like bought her backlog of songs, her old catalog of songs or something, from years ago. And I definitely don't like to see music artists getting taken advantage of by labels or licensing companies or anything like that. I very much am in support of artists being in control of their own music, which is why it sucks to see people sign really bad deals all the time, or things just kind of go wrong with like deals that they had signed that get sold off to other places or something. I don't like to see that. It's a dang shame. So she's saying she wants to perform her old songs on TV. Scott and Scooter are apparently saying no. "I'm not allowed to perform my old songs on television because they claim that would be re-recording my music before I'm allowed to next year." I guess like the contract says it's like whatever that thing ends next year. Additionally, and this isn't the way I had planned on telling you this news, Netflix has created a documentary about my life for the past few years. Oh, goody. Oh, can't wait for that. "Scott and Scooter have declined the use of my older music or performance footage for this project, even though there is no mention of either of them or Big Machine Records anywhere on the film." I guess Big Machine Records is their company. I'm not too good at doing research before videos. Well, I don't think it has anything to do with them being mentioned. I think it's that they own the rights to a lot of the stuff and how it gets used, like, mechanically, and they just probably want money for the thing. They probably are waiting for you to strike some kind of deal with them, or whatever company is involved in, like Netflix and American Music Awards. Like some kind of money is probably needed. I don't think they'd probably just be downright just shutting it down. They probably have the rights to the stuff because they want money, which is not good. You know, they're probably a very crummy deal. But lots of artists all the time are stuck in horrible deals, and it's not good. I'm not saying it is. Even though there's no mention of them or Big Machine Records anywhere in the film, Scott Borchetta told my team that they'll allow me to use my music only if I do these things. Agree to not re-record copycat versions of my songs next year, which is something I'm both legally allowed to do and looking forward to. Oh, so there you go. Taylor Swift planning on re-recording her old music next year. Nice. Get ready for that. And also told my team that I need to stop talking about him and Scooter Braun. I can imagine why they wouldn't like that, because, you know, the millions of supporters you have that are just going to come for them, which, not saying that they shouldn't. Again, I want to be very clear so that people aren't just saying that I like big record companies and hate Taylor Swift. But yeah, that's a funny request that they'd be like, please stop. I feel very strongly that sharing what is happening to me could change the awareness level for other artists and potentially help them avoid a similar fate. And it could also get Taylor Swift a lot of money if she like forced them to like give up the contract or whatever because of the millions of people complaining to them. But she's done this before. She has done this before with smaller artists, like saying I'm doing this for the smaller artists, and it hasn't been helpful to smaller artists and has clearly been about her just making even more millions and millions of dollars, which is why this needed a video, I thought, but we'll get to that. So she says she's talking about this, giving out their names and the company, and saying exactly what's going on with the legal obligations and everything for awareness, which, hey, I think more artists should be aware that pretty much any like record label is going to be really horrible for them unless they're so big that they can like actually have some leverage in the deal and, you know, work things out with lawyers and everything. The record companies cannot do much for smaller artists nowadays, now that you can do a lot on your own with a small investment. But anyway, I digress. The message being sent to me is very clear. Basically, be a good little girl and shut up, or you'll be punished. Whew. This is something that definitely spans across a lot of music artists. A lot of them have this problem with licensing and record and recording companies with their own music rights being held, and they can't really do the things that they want to do with them. That line really makes me feel like she is trying to turn this into a silence woman type of thing. Not that it's not a thing, that's very much still a thing. I like how I have to just reassure everything I say. That's very much a thing, you know, people just trying to just keep women down. But this is definitely something in this case that is pretty across the board, I feel. I think any old folk could get taken advantage of by some giant music companies and have their musical rights taken away. So the wording of that was just very hinting to me, and I don't know if that's the message. I think their message is give us money for it, because I guess they're in the legal right. They like own the stuff, and they're like, hey, you can use it. They're probably like that's the thing. They're probably waiting for a deal to be made, and she's just like, do you know who I am? I'm Taylor Swift. I will have all or nothing. Look at my millions of fans. Which, hey, you know, good for you. Good for you. That I would love that type of leverage on. She says, this is wrong. Neither of these men had a hand in the writing of those songs. They did nothing to create the relationship I have with my fans. So this is where I'm asking you for help. it's not about whether they wrote the songs or not. It's they have the legal rights to them, apparently. Like, they're not saying, like, these are ours, mine, mine, mine. They're probably just literally waiting for money. So this is where I'm asking you for help. This is where I'm asking for your help, you, the reader. Please let Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun know how you feel about this. Scooter, great dude, everyone message them. Scooter also manages several artists who I really believe care about other artists and their work. Please ask them for help with this. Okay, yes, spam other artists too to rally behind Taylor Swift, because she's totally doing this for all of the musical artists out there and not for millions and millions of extra dollars. Well, if anyone's if anyone's gonna have it, I guess it should be her if it's her music, because, you know, otherwise it would just be going to these bozos who own like a music licensing company that probably do a lot of stuff, but probably not worth the amount that Taylor Swift is raking in for them. I'm hoping that maybe they can talk some sense into the men who are exercising tyrannical control over someone who just wants to play the music she wrote. Guys, all she wants to do is play music and make millions and millions of extra dollars. Because it's not just about you wanting to play the music, because if it was, you could, I'm sure, buy your way out of this deal somehow, or at least arrange some kind of deal where you pay them for rights to, you know, do some of the things that you want to do, such as play your songs on this thing or include them in a Netflix special. Because at the end of the day, the reason why they have your stuff or whatever, their licensing things that they have, is because they want to make money. They're not trying to keep Taylor Swift down, I don't think. You know? I'm especially asking for help from the Carlyle Group, who put up money for the sale of my music to these two men. I just want to be able to perform my own music. That's it. I've tried to work this out privately through my team, but have not been able to resolve anything. I really can't see them not wanting to sit down and try to come to a deal. Maybe you don't like the deal, but it's like, and then this is a whole like behind the scenes closed door type of thing where we don't really know what's going on. But first, I'm not going to take Taylor Swift's word for it because of just weird things she said before. But I know, I'm not that I'm going to take any giant music company's word for it either. That's it. I've tried to work this out privately through my team, but have not been able to resolve anything. Right now, my performance at the AMAs, the Netflix documentary, and other recorded events I am planning to play until November of 2020 are a question mark. I love you guys, and I thought you should know what's been going on. Taylor. Oh, she's just really looking out for all of us, isn't she? It's totally just about us and for other artists not getting screwed over. And so, when I say she's done stuff like this before, I mean, remember back when she took her music off of like streaming services, especially specifically off of Spotify, saying that she thinks they don't properly compensate artists and that she's doing it for all the smaller artists out there that don't have a say and all that. Well, you know, streaming services, they're really not good money for most artists out there. It's really a very small percentage. I have music on streaming services, I know, but she decided to speak for like all smaller artists and stuff and everyone in trying to stand up to the big bullies of the streaming companies. To me, it really was just she was looking for a better deal. She wanted more money for herself. And in fact, other smaller artists came out saying, hey, Taylor, we don't want your help. Streaming services are a great way to distribute our music and, you know, get the word out there, being that the music industry, the money is in the performance now and like actually owning the rights to songs and stuff, like, you know, being able to license them out for like commercials and whatever else, not necessarily sales of music or like streaming and stuff. Like, it's like live performance, merchandise sales, and licensing stuff out for like commercial use. That's where like all the money is in the music industry. So it's not helping. You know, the album sales are really not great nowadays. Now that everyone just streams everything, which, hey, you know, kind of the way it is. But a lot of artists appreciate this, that, you know, you can give them a listen without having to commit to buying anything, and it gets you listening to more things. You know, if you hear about a band and people like it, and, you know, you don't have access to a purchased album of theirs, you know, you can just give a quick listen and then, hey, it could turn into your favorite band. You know, a lot of artists like that. I remember at the time that Taylor Swift was doing this band that I like, Highly Suspect, which was kind of just getting started on their first album, I believe, posted this long thing like, hey, Taylor, we definitely don't want your help. These streaming services help us a lot in getting exposure, and it really seems like you just want money. That's not a direct quote. I don't remember exactly what they said, but you can check it out. And so, yeah, that's what I mean when I say she's done stuff like this before. It's like, it's kind of like she's rallying people up, and in the process of all this stuff where she's saying it's for other smaller artists and stuff like that, and for the fans and whatnot, it also is just making her a lot of money. And she already is truly one of the highest paid musicians in the world right now. So it's like, come on, you know, it's like quite the coincidence that you make a lot of money in the process of rallying up all these people to fight back on things that you don't like in the music world, which the things that she's complaining about are very valid, I must say. Don't say I'm trying to defend giant music corporations. I'm definitely not. I really don't like them. I think smaller artists should really try to do as much as they can, get a following and all that, and try to record their music like with their own money, get support. You can, you know, crowd fund if you have to, if you get some people that enjoy your music. But the record companies really can't do much for people nowadays except just take a lot of money from things. So, you know, just look out for yourselves and it's like, you know, think whatever you want. I see a lot of this stuff and I think Taylor Swift just likes money. That's just my thought. I can't really back it up with any other facts than that, but it's just my vibe. You know, live a vibe. Life's a vibe. Check your vibe. So there you go. Again, I don't hate Taylor Swift. I listen to the music when it pops up on the radio. It's enjoyable stuff. Please keep that in mind and be fair, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You know, let me know down in the comments. I'll definitely be there. And yeah, you know what? Have a great day and I'll see you next time. WiLLo Davis, out.